Alrighty guys, so today I wanted to make you a video on how to reset the travel limits on your Stanley garage door opener. If they're messed up for whatever reason, if the chain jumped off the sprocket and now your limits are just in the completely wrong spot, or you're at the point that you can't adjust any of these knobs anymore to move the door up or down farther. Whatever reason your Stanley travel limits are messed up, this video I'm going to show you how to reset them to get your opener working right again. So you're basically going to be setting it up as if you were unpacking it new from the box and setting the limits for the first time. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing you want to do is unplug your unit, and if the chain is not already removed from the operator, you're going to want to take the chain off the sprocket. In my case, I don't have this thing on a rail or installed on a door or anything, but you want to remove the chain off that sprocket. You will have to loosen this bolt up here to loosen up the chain, and to get the chain off the sprocket, to get enough slack, you might need to push the head unit forward some, in which case you might have to loosen up the back hangs on the opener a little bit to get a little bit of play back and forth to slide the power head. Once you get your chain off, what you're going to do is we're going to remove the cover from the garage door opener. There are 4 screws. There's 2 on this side and there's 2 on the other side, either a flathead or a 1/4-inch nut driver. You don't need to take them all the way out, just loosen them, and then the whole case will slide off. So let me do that on mine quick. Alright, so now the cover is removed on our opener. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the unit and we're going to direct our attention to the travel limits. So these contacts right here on the circuit board control your travel limits, and you have these 2 little pegs here. When you run the opener, these pegs will travel up and down and will cause the contacts to touch here, which is what shuts off the opener. So what we want to do with the chain removed is we want to plug in our unit. So let me unplug my battery charger here, and we'll plug in the garage door opener. And what we're going to do is we're going to run the operator until the contacts here are centered between the 2 pegs. So I'm going to take my remote and we're going to run up the unit. And we'll stop it there. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to generally get it centered between the contacts. And yeah, I apologize, mine is a little bit noisy. This front plate here is vibrating a lot. But now that we have this, the contacts centered between the 2 pegs, what we're going to do now is we're going to take these 2, these are your limit adjustments right here. And actually, this will be easier if you take these limit nuts out of the case. This will also make it easier to put the cover back on at the end. If we take the limit nuts out of the case here, so there's just little tabs that you squeeze in on one side, and they kind of drop out of the bottom of the case. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand here. Let me get these out. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your limit nuts and just kind of place them over those like that. And you can unplug your unit now. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn these, and you're going to move these pegs as close as you can get them to the contacts without them touching. So we're going to start with this one here, turning it counterclockwise. You can see is moving that top peg there closer to the contacts, and turn it either until you can't turn it anymore, which in my case I'm at the point that I can't turn it anymore, so just stop there, don't try to force it, just make sure you're not on any of the contacts. And we'll do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to turn the opposite direction. We're going to move this peg up again until either we can't turn it anymore or just before it hits the contact. And there we are. Can't turn it anymore. So again, just double check, verify that those contacts are not touching. Now we're set up basically as if we had unpacked the opener new out of the box. So now at this point, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to replace the cover on your garage door opener. When you do that, make sure you route the antenna through that little hole. It also helps, it's a lot easier to get the cover back on if you leave the limit nuts off. Put the cover back on and then slide the limit nuts back into the holes. They'll just clip into place. Make sure you just line it up. You can see it's kind of a plus shape. Just make sure you line it up so it drops on there. The black nut, I guess it really doesn't matter too much, but the black nut is for the closed travel, the white nut's for the open travel. Now once you get the cover back on, you're going to put the chain back on the operator. When you do that, this is really important, is you want to put the trolley and the traveler at the midpoint of the rail. So basically, you want the door to be halfway open, in the halfway open position the first time you plug it in and run it. If you're in the fully open or fully closed position, you're going to mess it up. You're going to have to start all over again. So make sure your trolley is at the center of the rail on the garage door opener. Get your chain back around your sprocket, retension it. I've got 2 videos, and then once you retension it, you can plug in your unit and adjust your limits to where it would be fully open and fully closed. I have 2 other videos that I'll direct you to for those 2 steps. I'll put the links in the description. First link will be how to adjust your chain, how to get your chain to the right tension on the Stanleys, and the second video will show you how to adjust your travel limits. So hopefully this helps you guys out. I know these can be kind of tricky to figure out, so if you have any questions, please let me know and I'll answer them as best I can. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys later.